Gotta get my Pepsi. Good afternoon. Beautiful day. I still take umbrage to the guy who says, I didn't know how to smoke a cigar. That really hurts, man. That dug deep. What do you mean I don't know how? I admit the ring probably needs a little bit more, but I'll see if I can't nurse this along. Today, this one is for our minority brothers and sisters. Women, blacks, basically, let's put it easier stated. Anyone who isn't a white male, and you're going to see why. We are in May, and a lot of you, maybe not you, because I know my readership, white male or not, you guys already know this lesson, but you might have a loved one, or you may happen to be a white male and you have a loved one who's of a minority class. And this is a very important time in the year because, especially for the youngins, people are deciding what they're going to go and major in if they're in high school or if they're finishing off the first year of college. They are, okay, we did our first year and, what do I want to do and stuff like that. But speaking directly to the minority groups of the Cappysphere, I wanted to warn you about something that is genuinely racist or sexist, just bigoted in general. And that is what I call the hyphenated American degree. And I'm being deadly serious about this. And again, my readers and viewers, you probably already know this. And so I guess this would again be for a friend of yours that you really care about and you want to make sure they don't make a mistake. Now, let's look at college. College is expensive, costs a lot of money, and as I'm sure you're aware, or at least the media is starting to catch on now, there's a lot of people in higher education or big education, if you want to call it like big oil, that have no problems charging you $5,000 a class in whatever the hell it is that you want to study. Okay? They don't care if you're ever going to see a return on your investment. They don't care. They just want your money. So they're more than happy to offer these fluff classes and these kind of fluff degrees that aren't going to get you a job. And they're going to sell you the line. They're going to tell you, oh yeah, it's not all about the money, man. It's about following your heart and who wants to do this if it's all about the intellectual. It's the college experience, man. Okay, that's bullshit. All right. And the reason it's bullshit is you're being asked to fork over anywhere between $50,000 to $150,000 for this. So there damn well better be a financial component or financial aspect. Now, out of all the worthless degrees, the ones that are the most despicable, not because of the subject or the topic that they're studying, but because of the people who promote it, like the drug dealers that push this veritable poison, veritable drug on its unsuspecting victims, are the hyphenated American studies. And by hyphenated American studies, I mean anything blank American studies. So African American studies, Asian American studies, Chicano studies or Latino studies, women's studies. And what you have to understand, this is where I need you to stick with me. I need you to pay attention and not have a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, what is it, racist, bigoted, what's wrong with it? Listen to me. Listen, very important. There's nothing wrong with studying Chicano history. There's nothing wrong with studying African history. There's nothing wrong with studying any group of people in the United States or the world or women. There's nothing wrong with that. The question is this, and pay very close attention. Do you need to pay some washed up hippie professor $2,000 a class to tell you something that you could simply go and get for free at the library? Or by reading things. You don't even have to spend gas to go to the library. You don't need a library card. You can just go on the internet. Or if it's not available at the library, it's not available on the internet, you buy or everything's available on Amazon.com. Just get a book. Get the college book and read it. Now, the reason I point this out, you say, well, yeah, but then I'm not going to get credit. Follow this through. What is the consequence? What is your employment prospects, or how do your employment prospects change when you finally get that degree in women's studies? The answer is it doesn't. You are just as employable as a high school graduate as you are someone with a bachelor's degree in, lesbian Guatemalan poetry. The reason why is that there is no demand for someone with a degree in African American studies. There is no demand for someone with a degree in women's studies. And about the only place there is a demand is for future teachers to teach future suckers to go and major in this crap. In other words, what I'm trying to do is point out to you that you can have the exact same employment prospects simply going and studying this stuff on the internet or the library for near free. I mean, you may have to buy a book or something, as opposed to dropping $100,000 in 4 years of your youth pursuing something that is not going to increase your employment prospects. Right? Now, what you have to really realize what these programs and these degrees or majors are is they're scams. Right? Look at the people who teach them. And I'm saying don't look at the color of the skin or their gender. That's not what I'm talking, because that's the trick. They sell you this based on, I guess it would be a psychological predisposition to go and major in something that you are. Like, so if they had drunken Irish video game playing male studies, yeah, I could see where I might want to take a class or two in that. But you have to think beyond that. You have to go beyond that. And if you look at these people, as I was saying before, the people who push this are worthless people themselves. They didn't learn a skill or a trade. They're not teaching you anything that you couldn't figure out on your own. What they're doing is they're charging you for something that has no value. Now, in my book, Worthless, I go into this a little bit more detail, but because this is such a, like I said, despicable act or transgression, I did want to point it out to help our minority brothers and sisters out there in the campus or all across the world. But what you must understand is these studies, like I said before, play on characteristics and traits that you were born with. Let's say you're gay, okay? Nothing wrong with them. Best friend's gay, I'm for gay marriage, okay, fine, whatever. But there's nothing special about being gay. You yourself, your person, didn't do anything to become gay. It's not an achievement. You just happen to be. It's like saying, okay, I got brown eyes, see? It would be the same thing as having brown eye studies. I didn't do anything to get the brown eyes. It's just how I came out of the assembly line, or 5'8" skinny guy studies. Well, I guess skinny I could always eat, but 5'8", okay, my height this is out of my control. It's something that is a trait or a characteristic I was born with. In other words, we're talking about character. There's nothing special about the color of your skin. There's nothing special about your gender, and there's nothing special about your sexual orientation. Because yes, it does define you, but you yourself, your person, did not work to achieve it. It's not an accomplishment. When you go to school, you want to learn a skill or a trade so that you have an accomplishment, you have achieved something, and now you have a skill that could go out into the real world. And don't give me the argument, oh, it's not all about the money. Yeah, it is. But given the price of college tuition, yes, it is now. You must get a rate of return on your money. And when you go and major in something where you simply study a characteristic of yourself that you were born with, you had nothing to do to achieve, it's pointless. It's futile. It's a waste of your time, your youth, and your money. So this is not to say don't go and, if you like, read Ebony, read Latin Times, read women's studies books all you want and become pissed off and miserable. But that's the way you should take this wisdom or this knowledge in. Find out, study your group, study your ethnicity, study your sexual, hang out with those people. You're going to get the exact same thing for free and spare yourself at least 4 years of your time. More often than not, you got to go get a master's or a doctorate just to get employed in a college. So you're looking at 6 to 8 years, right? It's a racket. It's a scam. And you want to talk about true racism or sexism or bigotry, that's where it is. And I know it seems odd because, well, the teachers are gay or the teachers are black. They're Uncle Toms. I mean, think about this. Again, follow me through on this. If you're a professor, let's take a black professor, who's an African American studies professor. If they really cared about you, whether you're black, or let's just say you're black, keep it consistent, and your black professor wants you to advance and succeed in life, the first thing he or she would do is tell you not to major in African American history. It's pointless. It's stupid. That doesn't mean you don't read up on it. Doesn't mean the subject itself is stupid. It is the act of spending all that money on a professor, on books, on lodging, on tuition, to get something that is going to be worthless. Okay? You need to find intellectually honest people who really care about you, or maybe, they want you to succeed. They have the common human decency to tell you the truth and not really too much about your feelings, let alone take advantage of you and scam 75 grand out of you so that they can have some cushy little job. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, your professors in these various hyphenated American majors are themselves, they share the same physical trait that you and they were born with, that they didn't do anything to work for. They just happen to be born Mexican. They just happen to be born, I'm trying to think of something different. They just happen to be born gay or whatever it is, okay? So you will naturally have something in common with them. You will naturally think they're going to be on your side. But truthfully and honestly, if you get past the pigmentation or the place of birth or sexual orientation or whatever, and you truly become, not bigoted, not biased, not prejudiced, and you ask yourself the question, is this person, not this Latino American studies professor, not this gay gender studies professor, not this African American history professor, not this Asian studies professor, is this person really helping me or are they harming me? And so hopefully that will work out. And honestly, truly, and you don't believe me, look at some of the graduates. Most of these people just become angry protesters because they can't find jobs. And if you look at, this is a political connotation, look at, this is a fact, but what I'm going to draw from is a political observation. If you look at what the master's theses, I didn't major in English, of a lot of these hyphenated American studies are, it's nothing more than communist claptrap to warrant taking away money from other groups of people, namely the white males. But do you want to become that? Is that your life? Look at these people and ask yourself at the age of 17, 18, 19, 20, even 21, 22, 23, do I want to become like these people? All right. And the truth is, you already have that trait or characteristic you were born with in common with them, but you don't have to become that kind of a despicable person. You don't have to become a charlatan. You don't have to become someone who's scamming young kids in the future because you got stuck going down this path and now you got your master's in women's studies. You don't know what to do with it aside from screw over other future poor girls who is going to put them at a disadvantage. So, there's an element of soul searching and morality, but right now, as it is, think about you. Don't think about altruism or morality. Right now, can you afford to drop $100 grand in 4 years of your life on some worthless degree where you're not going to learn anything? You're not going to learn a skill or trade. You're just going to learn about something you probably already know because you were born with it. So that's all I got. Bye, my